Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today we're going to be making this Father's Day card. It says, World's Best Dad, you mean the world to me. I think it's an easy card to put together and I think you're really going to like this. Let's get started. This was my local card class this week in May. It was a Masculine May card class, and we used the stamp set Going Global. And I heard a couple of comments saying like they wouldn't know what to do with this stamp set, but after class they kind of loved it. So I hope, to convince you that you may like this stamp set as well. It is going to retire at the end of May, so if you like this, you may want to go ahead and put that on your wish list. Besides Going Global stamp set, we're going to need a piece of Sahara Sand cardstock for the card base, cut at 5.5 by 8.5. One layering piece. This is for the inside of the card, very vanilla, 4 by 5.25. And a piece of Going Places Designer Series paper. This is such a cool Designer Series paper. Again, it's while supplies last through the end of May. And this is cut at 4 and 4.25. So let's go ahead and take our card base first, and you can either score it or you can just match up the ends, and with your bone folder get a nice crisp edge to it. Next, with our Stampin' Trimmer, we are going to cut at a diagonal the Designer Series paper, and I love this layout in the fact that it's a super easy one. This was all the rage after on stage when it was shown to us, and so you just want to make sure that you have your 4-inch side up here, because again it's 4 by 4.25, and then we're going to take it over, and with the left corner tip up and up towards the top of your trimmer, we're going to cut at an angle. And you can play around with how steep you want the sentiment to go. I found that I like it maybe less steep. Same card, just different Designer Series paper, so that you can see the difference in the angle that you have there. So whatever angle that you want, again, the left corner is up on the top, and there's no right or wrong to how you do this. And just with their trimmer blade, put that into 2 pieces. So I know some of you will maybe want to know about how far down to do this. Let me just get my ruler here. I did that at just about at 1.5 inches, and so probably 1.5 inches on both sides if you wanted to measure it. Okay, now you'll see how super easy this card is to put together. What I like to do first is to position where my designer paper will eventually go. I am going to put it up with foam dots with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, so I know that that's where it's going to be. And now I'm going to take my sentiment from Going Places that says World's Best Dad, and I'm using Lost Lagoon. Now Lost Lagoon is a retiring color, so if you don't have it, and you can always go with Mossy Meadow or even the archival black ink on there. Okay, and what we also want to do is, because I'm going to put an embellishment over here, I want to make sure I'm stamping off to the side there, or closer to the right edge. Okay, just make sure I've got my stamp going in the right direction. And stamp. World's Best Dad. I'm sorry, but that would be my papa. I know we all think that of our own dad, don't we? Okay, so again, here's where we're going with the card. Next, I want to put 6 Stampin' Dimensionals on each half of our Designer Series paper, because I really want it to pop up off of the card base. So I'm lightly going to layer it, and I've already taken the backs off of these. And get that lined up on the card base. So it looks something like that. With some scrap, very vanilla cardstock, we're going to stamp the globe image, or the world image. And we'll get that inked up. There we go. And get that stamped, and we're going to punch it out. And we'll grab our 2-inch circle punch. And punch. With a Stampin' Sponge or a sponge dauber like I have here, going to take the dauber and sponge and ink around the edges. I think that just makes the globe or the world pop and off the card just a little bit more. And while I have the globe image, I'm going to stamp off and decorate the inside of the card with this globe image. So again, stamp off. So I'm inking up, stamp once on some scrap paper and stamp then the second time on our project. And then with archival, Stampin' Up! Black ink, going to stamp "You Mean the World to Me" on the center of it. My daddy does mean the world to me. And the inside's done. With snail adhesive or maybe some multi-purpose glue, going to attach the inside, or the inside of the card to the base, card base. Give it a nice burnish. And then we're going to take our globe image and we're going to put a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals on it. Oops, and let's see here, where's my top of it? Actually, a tip, since I'm going to put it up here, I want to put both dimensionals kind of on the top part of it, because the bottom part's going to not really touch the card base. It's going to rest on top of the top section of the Designer Series paper. Like that. And next I wanted to share how I got this fun not baker's twine, but linen thread bow here. What I did is I took one of my acrylic blocks and some linen thread, and I'm going to cut off a little piece that I'm going to use to tie around the bow here. And with the other ones, I'm going to wrap maybe, count about 4 or 5 loops, complete loops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and cut off, 5, let me do that again. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wrapped it around the block, and then just cut it off, and we'll get rid of the tails here in just a little bit. And now what I did is I just kind of, I'm going to have, here's my string that I'm going to use to tie around. I'm going to just slide this off of the block and kind of pinch it as it comes off. And then, you can twist it, something to keep it a little more in place there. So I just kind of gave it a half twist. And, I work a lot by myself at night, so I can tie this by myself. But, if you've got somebody handy, you might want to say, hey, tie this for me. So I've just learned to do things on my own here. But again, grab a partner for 2 seconds and have them tie it. And then look, it's a fun little linen thread element. And you can adjust that knot there a little bit. Now we're going to take our paper snips and kind of get some of these little extra wing pieces out of there. You could leave that if you wanted to. I'm going to just kind of shorten it all up. And grab my mini glue dot. So with my mini glue dot, I'm just going to take the linen thread right to the glue dot and pull that off, or pull it in the back, and then position it there. And you can spread out, the bows if you want. Now, if you take a really quick look, you'll see that this one, hopefully the camera picks it up, it's got some sparkle to the front of it. So what we're going to do next is add a little gold fleck using our Wink of Stella Gold. This was something that Sherry Gardner, our co-founder and CEO or former CEO of Stampin' Up, what she showed us on stage, the Stampin' Up convention. So again, this is the gold Wink of Stella, and I'm going to turn it upside down, and using my fingertip, I'm going to flick the gold onto my project. So just going to do this, and I'm seeing tiny little flecks of gold happening, and your finger does get, you know, messy, but a baby wipe will take care of that just fine. And if another option, if you don't like this, is I'm going to pump this just a little bit to get more gold in the barrel. Oops, and you want to clean your finger first, but another option is to just tap it on your finger too. It kind of gives a little more wild splatter. You're not quite as in control of it, but that's okay. But you do get a nice little splatter. And this one definitely goes all over when you do it that way. So can you see some of the gold little flecks on it? And if you want, you can even open it up and do it on the inside too. So again, that particular technique with tapping it gets you a little more bloppiness, and if you want to flick it, you kind of get more of a subtle little disbursement of it. But it's a neat way to get some little other elements into it, and that little bit of gold just adds the sparkle that, you know, of course a card could always need a little sparkle. So that's the card, and let me show you a couple of other versions that I have done. So here's our card we just completed. Here's the same exact card, same inside, only I used, of course, a different designer series paper option within the color stack. So here are some other papers within that collection. And I used the compass image on this one, and I used the confetti star punch and added star elements through there, and used the star from the itty bitty punch pack to make that element. This is the compass, excuse my arm, the compass from the stamp set. And, you know, so same thing, use the 2-inch circle punch. And this stamp, whoops, and the stamp set Greatest Greetings, I found World's Greatest Guy, and since we have the world, you know, that would work too. But this one says the world's greatest guy. I'm lost without you. The Lost Without You is part of the Going Global stamp set. So I really got my miles worth out of this stamp set. Great for some masculine cards, but also I could see like some other ideas that you can use. I mean, this design, you can so make this like stamp in a happy birthday set in there. And going back to the Greatest Greetings, this is kind of a good combination maybe with the I'm lost without you. Maybe you need to send I'm sorry. And so here says, I'm so sorry. You could stamp that there. I'm lost without you. I think that would be a great one on that. And so a happy birthday, or what some of the girls did at class is, I'll go back to this one. You could just leave this blank and kind of center the globe a little more, and then still say you mean the world to me, and then it could be, you know, a pretty generic note card. Okay, well, I hope you give this layout a try, and, you know, don't pass up on the Going Global stamp set while you can. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my video, I welcome you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to check out my blog at createwithdee.com. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.